Regiment is the principal strike force of the brigade and is tasked with assault and counterattack, advance to contact, pursuit, covering force, and blocking operations. Tanks mount large caliber guns which are capable of firing armor-defeating, high explosive, smoke, and canister ammunition. The use of a solid-state fire control system incorporating laser ranging and a ballistic computer, image intensification, and thermal imagery permit the tank to deliver accurate, aimed fire during periods of limited visibility, and it excels at destructive direct fire at hard and pinpoint targets while stationary or on the move. The tank's cross-country agility enables it to move and engage targets from a variety of fire positions, to avoid enemy ground observation and fire, traverse streams and rivers, and work their way across minefields. The tank's size and weight may, however, affect tactical plans by ruling out certain routes, while noise can preclude surprise. The tank's inherent armor protection affords it a good chance of survival against hits from enemy tanks, anti-tank and artillery fire. They are, however, vulnerable to short-range anti-armor fire, and supporting infantry are required to reduce this threat. Tanks can operate effectively over contaminated ground and incorporate a protective system against fallout and chemical attack. Armor can be quickly concentrated and rapidly dispersed, and the point of an attack can be easily shifted without lengthy and detailed orders.
Mission, call sign 3 will attack and destroy. Execution, a right flanking.
The fundamentals of employing armor dictate that tank operations must be executed with speed, resolution, and boldness. The basic fire unit is the tank troop, and the squadron is the basic maneuver unit. Tanks must be supported by infantry if they are required to hold ground for an extended period. The firepower of as many tanks as possible must be massed to produce a shock effect. The fire of one element must cover the movement of another. Ground must be chosen to provide maneuver room protection and concealment for tanks. Tanks always work in conjunction with infantry and with the support of other arms. And armored operations consume significant bulk quantities of fuel and ammunition, and consequently require adequate and timely resupply. The tank regiment is organized into a regimental headquarters, a reconnaissance troop, 4 tank squadrons, and a headquarters squadron. The regimental headquarters is kept small and is required to move frequently to avoid detection and to maintain communications. Its sighting should provide firm ground with concealment from the air and room for dispersion, good communications, accessibility to the main axis, and it should be defensible. The RHQ includes 2 command tanks, one which permits the CO to exercise command in the forward area, and the other covers the movement of his tank. Also in the RHQ location are the CO's rover, the regimental liaison officer, signal officer, and the regimental sergeant major. 2 dispatch riders and a radio rebroadcast vehicle assist with communications, and a mobile repair team keeps the headquarters vehicles and radios operational. The regimental police section also works from this location and is tasked by the regimental operations officer. It is responsible for traffic control, PWs and detainees, police investigations, the enforcement of discipline, and liaison with the affiliated military police platoon.
3-2, this is 0, over.
The hub of the headquarters are its 2 command post vehicles. The operations command post is manned by the regimental ops officer and his staff. They operate the command nets, maintain current operations information, maps and battle boards, and receive, action, log, and display relevant information.
Southeast on the black track.
The Regimental 2IC normally functions from the Ops CP, where he monitors the ongoing activities and can quickly act in place of the CO when required.
You can also get the dispositions for the forward brigade.
The unit intelligence officer and his staff operate from the intelligence command post. In addition to their intelligence function, they are responsible for collecting and disseminating nuclear and chemical data, duplicating the operational information, and holding copies of up-to-date maps and logs.
Good day, sir. Good, sir. Okay, we just had...
Both CPs are identically equipped and staffed to permit control to shift smoothly from one vehicle to another during step-up operations. The regiment's reconnaissance troop is broken down into a headquarters and 5 patrols. The troop is normally grouped on a regimental task, reporting directly back to the RHQ. If required, some of its elements may be detached in support of the tank squadrons. Throughout all phases of operations, the reconnaissance troop is used to recce routes, hides, battle positions, assembly areas, and attack positions. The regiment's tank squadrons each include a small headquarters, 4 tank troops, and an administrative troop. The squadron is structured to fight as a single entity. As a fundamental, tanks are not allotted by half squadrons to different battle groups. Splitting the squadron in half or detaching troops must only be done after careful deliberation and with full acceptance of the risks of violating the basic principles of mass and concentration. The squadron commander operates from a command tank, and his battle captain assists him from the squadron's second command tank. They both monitor the regimental or battle group and the squadron command nets, but with a different emphasis. The battle captain works the regimental net, keeping RHQ informed of the situation and passing on important information to the squadron commander, who is fully occupied on the squadron command net with the conduct of the ongoing battle.
Defense only, with 3 BMPs, 2 now destroyed, and 1 tank still in position.
A dozer tank travels with the headquarters group and is used mainly for improving routes and digging in fire positions. A liaison officer represents his commander at other headquarters, carries out reconnaissance, and helps with the control of movement. A dispatch rider assists with the squadron's communications. Each tank troop consists of 4 identically equipped tanks linked by radio. The troop leader's fundamental task is to maneuver and concentrate the fire of all of his tanks against the enemy. The tank squadron's administrative troop subdivides into A1, A2, and B echelon elements. The squadron's A1 echelon is deployed 1 or 2 bounds to the rear of its F echelon. It is kept as small as possible, providing for the squadron's immediate needs in battle. The A1 echelon is commanded by the squadron sergeant major and typically includes an armored recovery vehicle, 2 APC ambulances, POL and ammunition vehicles, 4 mobile repair teams composed of vehicle, weapons, fire control systems, and radio repair technicians, the squadron commander's rover, and mine roller and plow-carrying vehicles. Further back, the squadron's A2 and B echelon elements are normally centralized within the regimental A2 and B echelons. The squadron's A2 echelon is commanded by the squadron second-in-command. It normally incorporates an ambulance, POL and ammunition vehicles, and mobile repair teams. The B echelon element is commanded by the squadron quartermaster sergeant. It includes kitchen, baggage, stores, and any other vehicles not required forward. Normal deployment of the regiment's administrative resources involved individual squadron A1 echelons operating under squadron control and centralized A2 and B echelons functioning under regimental control. The administrative system is designed to ensure that F echelon is topped up with combat supplies at every opportunity. Critical repairs are carried out well forward, enabling individual tanks to continue the fight, and that personnel and vehicle casualties are quickly evacuated rearward. The regiment's 3-day basic load of combat supplies is split, with 1 day's holdings held by the various F echelons, the squadron A echelons, and the regimental A2 echelon, Replenishment of combat supplies and other commodities is conducted as required in battle, on a daily basis, or in concert with a dumping operation. Headquarters squadron comprises a logistics troop, a maintenance troop, a transport troop, and an administrative troop. It contains the bulk of the regiment's administrative resources, which are divided between the A2 and B echelon locations. The squadron establishes an echelon control command post in the regimental A2 echelon area and coordinates ongoing combat service support for the regiment.
Sir, no enemy in the area. The area is secure, sir. Thank you, Sergeant.
The regimental A2 echelon is commanded by the headquarters squadron 2IC.
Ooh, this is 112.
It holds the balance of the regiment's basic load of combat supplies not carried by the squadrons. It includes stores and spare parts vehicles, the maintenance troops' specialized shop and heavy lift vehicles, and any MRTs that are not deployed forward. Also in the A2 echelon location is the headquarters squadron A1 echelon, which serves RHQ, the recce troop, any deployed MRTs, the squadron A2 echelon groupings, and the regimental medical station, which includes tracked and wheeled ambulances and a medical stores vehicle. The regimental chaplains normally work at the RMS and visit other regimental elements as time and the situation permit. The regimental B echelon, sited in the brigade administration area, includes those personnel, vehicles, and equipment not required in F or A echelons. It is the direct link with the service battalion and assists in assuring the regimental needs are met. The B echelon is commanded by the unit quartermaster and typically consists of some maintenance elements, finance cell, kitchens, QM stores, orderly room, and the squadron's B echelon elements. Postal services are provided through the unit B echelon orderly room, where mail is sorted and distributed downward to the squadron. It is here that replacements join the regiment. The maintenance organization within the regiment includes a regimental maintenance troop split between A2 and B echelons and a maintenance section in the A1 echelon of each squadron. The regimental maintenance troop provides first-line maintenance of unit equipment, including repair, servicing, and inspections, recovery, modifications, and repair parts scaling. The tank squadron's maintenance section is made up of mobile repair teams which can handle a limited range of first-line repairs to the squadron's vehicles and equipment. The regiment holds a 15-day expected usage of repair parts. Each repair section and MRT deploys with a small holding of likely spares needed for on-site repairs. Harbours are used by the regiment's subunits throughout any given phase of operations. These are temporary areas which permit elements to carry out replenishment, maintenance, rest, or other related activities. They are occupied when enemy interference is considered unlikely. The essential characteristic of a harbor is concealment from enemy ground and air observation. Other features include adequate space for dispersal, ground suitable for the movement and parking of vehicles, good entrances and exits, a site which permits good radio communications, and a location that is defensible with good fields of fire. Built-up areas provide good concealment from enemy visual observation and electronic surveillance, particularly when vehicles are blended with shadows or parked inside buildings. Tracks are easy to conceal, and hard-surfaced areas are available for administration and maintenance. Dispersion may be greater than in a wooded area, which, along with the presence of any civilians, will pose additional security problems. Hides and sniping positions are normally used in conjunction with the defense. A hide is a location that is occupied by a troop or squadron where they wait for the order to move into battle or sniping positions. The characteristics of a hide are similar to that of a harbor. Maintenance or replenishment are not normally conducted in a hide. Sniping positions are occupied to prevent the primary battle position from being prematurely disclosed or to achieve long-range attrition of the enemy. They are normally outside of and generally forward of a battle position. A troop or occasionally individual tanks may be deployed forward in a sniping role. During defensive operations, the regiment may be employed to execute deliberate and hasty blocking tasks between and behind defended areas. These are based upon a number of squadron battle positions which cover the killing zone and its approaches. Troops may be assigned both primary and secondary battle positions. These are cited to be defilated from the enemy and to achieve enfilade fire. They must be large enough to allow for deployment in depth and to permit jockeying, and must have wide fields of fire. Continuous surveillance of battle positions and the approaches to them must be maintained to ensure early warning of enemy movement. The routes from hides to battle positions must also be patrolled. Fire planning includes defensive fire for the battle positions and their associated hides, and covering fire for all movement. The regiment is well suited to execute one or more counterattack tasks during the conduct of a defense. These may be assigned in conjunction with a blocking or reinforcing mission. Normally, the task of providing intimate support to the infantry in a defended area is provided by a tank squadron as part of an infantry battle group. The battle group commander allots tasks to the squadrons, designates killing zones and approaches which are to be covered by fire. Dismounted infantry must provide for the local protection of the tanks.
How you doing? Nick Martin, sir, Patricia. Robert Putzler, SQUADRON RTD.
Armor can best contribute to the defense when joint armored and infantry reconnaissance is carried out at all levels. The tank regiment, because of its inherent characteristics, is ideally suited for offensive operations. During a brigade advance to contact, the regiment would likely be tasked to provide the main component of the advance guard. The lead squadrons move by bounds over a wide front, ideally only encountering enemy which has been previously reported and picketed by the covering force. Lead squadrons will normally bypass the enemy. Depth squadrons move from waiting area to waiting area or by bounds, depending on the cover and anticipated or known enemy action. They are prepared to attack or assume the picketing of any enemy that has been bypassed. The regiment could also be tasked to form one of the battle groups, and the squadron would be combined with infantry elements into combat teams to directly attack the enemy. Tanks with the assault force are required to break into the enemy defenses, providing intimate support to the infantry as they destroy the enemy. Others provide direct fire support to the troops fighting up to and through the objective, and engage enemy armor and anti-armor weapons. They also ensure that the objective remains isolated when the assault force can no longer be covered by the fire base. Protection is provided until such time as the objective is consolidated and additional support weapons have been moved forward. During the pursuit, tanks are used to maintain pressure against the enemy, to encircle or separate his forces, and to block his withdrawal. Throughout all operations, under all battlefield conditions, the tank regiment is organized and equipped to provide the brigade commander with a mobile, protected, and flexible strike force.
The other has reversed back into the low ground behind the crest. I'm observing, over.
Its proper employment will assist in achieving victory in battle.